bit different. So we have high pressure that's building in that could potentially be bringing down some of those particles to the surface, thus impacting your air quality. So for sensitive groups, you're likely going to be feeling the effects of this tomorrow because that high pressure, when you have high pressure, you have sinking air. So we're going to be dealing with some of that smoke coming all the way down to the surface tomorrow. So this is a map of your air quality alerts. Again, it's throughout the Chicagoland area, parts of Michigan. The entirety of the UP of Michigan has an air quality alert. We have eastern and southern Wisconsin included in this, all of Iowa also included in this air quality alert. And if we zoom things in, for those of you locally, McHenry County, Lake County in both Illinois and Indiana, we have from Kane County down to Grundy and Kendall County, over to Northwest Indiana, places like Porter County, Newton, Jasper counties. All of us have air quality alerts that are now in effect. They're going to stay in effect all the way until midnight Thursday night, which is technically early morning Friday, but that's when we should start to see at least some improvements. But let's take a look at the model here. So our Futurecast smoke model, notice overhead right now, it's not that bad. A lot of us are getting a brief break because we've had that rain moving through. However, that could be changing here as high pressure builds in. So whenever you have low pressure, you have rising air. That's how we get convection in clouds and rain. When you have high pressure, that typically equates to nice, sunny, clear, calm conditions, but it's sinking air. So that's why we're likely going to see the air quality not looking so good tomorrow. And this Futurecast smoke model is really showing that by tomorrow morning between 6 and 7 o'clock in the morning. What I want you to focus on is the yellow shading on this map. So as I advance this through the day tomorrow, you're going to see multiple waves coming through. So that's a denser smoke that we could be dealing with on Thursday. And then even going into Friday, it's looking like we're still going to be seeing at least that haze in the air, but hopefully by that point, it's no longer going to be making its way down to the surface, although we are still going to see it high in the sky. So those milky, hazy skies that we've gotten used to this week, that's going to be the story tomorrow and then likely into Friday. But Friday, it shouldn't be quite as bad as what we're going to be experiencing tomorrow. Now, also talking about air quality, it's not just the wildfire smoke that's kind of running all of the headlines, weather related right now. It's also the Saharan dust. So a couple facts about this. This dust, obviously it originates over in the Sahara desert, given by its name there. And the neat thing about this is that it can travel thousands of miles to the west and eventually move into portions of the U.S. And it can act to suppress tropical activity. So the Atlantic tropical season, the hurricane season, that began on June 1st. And so far, we haven't had any named storms. There's still plenty of time. The season runs all the way through late November. But when you have these large amounts of dust in the air, all these dust particles, it can actually act to suppress the activity. So limit how much and how strong storms can get over the Atlantic. So that's a good thing when we're talking about tropical activity. And typically the time of year that we see this taking place, these plumes of dust moving from the Sahara over toward the U.S. is typically from June through mid-August. And it's really dominating the headlines in places like Florida right now. If we zoom things in, all of this orange that you're seeing here, that's representing the dust that's in the air. And you'll notice that it's now kind of encompassing southern Florida. And this is going to continue to expand to the west, the northwest, throughout the next 24 hours or so, and eventually be over basically the entire state of Florida, but also the southeastern U.S. So this is going to be impacting air quality, but also just like we've been seeing the wildfire smoke in the air and it gives us that hazy sky, that's what it's going to do in places like Florida and over the southeast coast as well. So you're going to have those hazy skies during the day and then those really beautiful orange sunsets. And I wrote down one very important fact that I wanted to share with you because when I saw this, it really grabbed my attention. I thought it was really neat. So each year, the atmosphere transfers several 100 million tons of Sahara dust over toward the U.S. So that's really just an incredible stat there. Again, that is several 100 million tons of dust that is going to be in the atmosphere throughout the course of a year that moves our way. If we zoom things out a little ways, this is a look at the satellite and radar. And I wanted to point out in Florida, notice those showers moving through. This is very typical this time of the year. But when you have that dust overhead, that can equate to something that's called dirty rain. So if you're seeing those headlines buzzing online, dirty rain is when you have showers, but you're also dealing with those dust particles in the air, and that brings it down to the surface. So then it looks like rain is kind of leaving behind a dusty mess on your cars, on surfaces. So we've been experiencing dirty rain in southern Florida, but that could very well be the case throughout the southeastern U.S. here in the next couple of days. Advancing to the north now, I did mention that we have high pressure building into the Chicagoland area. That's why we're going to have that sinking air. But this stationary front, this is the same frontal boundary that we've been talking about for the last couple of days. It's still impacting the area. That's why we have showers across the region. And if you look far to the southwest in New Mexico, as well as the panhandle of Texas, there's actually another severe thunderstorm watch that's going to remain in effect until midnight. So fortunately here at home, we're not concerned about any strong or severe thunderstorms. I think we're safe from that for a little while. If we zoom things in, we have high pressure building in. That's why, for those of you in the far northern extent of the viewing area, places like McHenry County, Lake County, Kane County, DuPage, you started to see decreasing cloud cover over the last few hours. It's because of that sinking air. But if you are south and east of I-55, well, we've still been seeing some showers rolling through. And we do have a photo to show you. This one coming to us from Corey McFerrin. And I hope you recognize that name, my former colleague at Rate Field. And this is a gorgeous shot here. The Sox are playing the Tigers tonight. And unfortunately, that game was delayed for a little while because of the rain that was moving through. But a gorgeous, gorgeous shot here with the rainbow as the sun was setting in the other direction. So gorgeous shot, Corey. And by the way, for those of you watching this, if ever you would like to see your photo, whether it's in this 8 p.m. update or on the news, all you have to do is download our Fox 32 weather app and then click submit right on the bottom of your screen, and you just might see your photo on the air. All right, let's get back to weather now. We'll talk about how much rain that we have been experiencing over the last 24 hours or so. And what I want you to focus on is the darker shade of green. So that's representing about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of rainfall in most locations that are in that dark green shade, but there's been occasional areas that have seen a little bit higher than that. We've had some pretty heavy downpours throughout portions of Kankakee County, and then definitely in eastern Will, and then over into northwest Indiana. That's where that's really been focused over the last couple of hours, but fortunately we are going to begin to dry things out. But even with this rain, it's not going to be a drought buster. So we are several inches behind average so far for this season. And you'll take a look at the drought monitor here. We have a moderate drought. There's a new drought monitor that comes out every Thursday morning. So we are going to get updated data tomorrow morning. But as it stands right now, that moderate drought, that is going to continue. We do, however, have more rain in the forecast later this week. I'll tell you all about that and show you Futurecast right after this break. Welcome back. So we do have more rain in your forecast later this week, but for those of you hoping for a break, which I think a lot of us are ready to see some nice sunny skies, we are going to get that tomorrow, but it's still going to be that hazy sunshine because of the wildfire smoke that I was just mentioning previously. But looking toward Friday and Saturday, there's a really small chance that we could have a couple stray showers across portions of the Chicago area, mainly far south of I-80. I'm talking places like Kankakee County, maybe southern Will County, and then over into Newton and Jasper counties. But basically everywhere else, I think we're going to be in really good shape for Friday and on Saturday. And then by Sunday, that's when all of us are at least going to have a chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms rolling through. And we're going to have to watch for the potential of strong to severe thunderstorms based on the timing of our frontal boundary coming through on Sunday. This is a really early heads up that we could potentially see a couple stronger storms Sunday afternoon. Now, your high pressure system that we have in place right now, that is going to continue to work its way off toward the east northeast, but that stationary front that we've been dealing with for the last couple of days, bringing us all of these rounds of rain and storms, that's still going to be lingering by early tomorrow morning. The good news, however, your morning commute's going to be just fine. We'll wake up to some cloud cover across the far southern sections into northwest Indiana, but north and west of I-55, we're likely looking at clearing conditions. So quite a bit of sunshine for the northwestern half of the viewing area. The southeast half, you're likely going to be seeing at least some higher level clouds. But again, that wildfire smoke, that's going to be playing a role in tomorrow's forecast. We do have that air quality alert that's going to remain in effect until midnight Thursday night. And then by Friday, we're going to be seeing increasing cloud cover. This model is going to try to bring that warm front a little bit closer to us. And depending on where this thing stalls out, one, it's going to dictate our temperatures and just how warm we're able to get. But two, the closer that we are to that frontal boundary, the more likely it is that we're going to be seeing at least some rainfall across portions of the area. But again, the highest threat of seeing that in our area is going to be well south of I-80. Most areas are looking at another dry day on Friday. Let's talk temperatures now. So your high temperature today was technically 71 degrees. That's where we were at midnight. But then during the daytime, temperatures dropped into the 50s and 60s as that rain was moving through. So this was all on the backside of the cold front that moved through yesterday. That is now that stationary front that I was just mentioning to you. So today we had to say so long to the nice warm temperatures, but they are expected to come back. Looking ahead for the next couple of days, we're in pretty decent shape. We're looking at near normal temperatures in the 70s. Here's a look at temps area wide right now, not just area wide, but nationally. We're in very good shape across the Midwest. We are sitting in the 60s, the 70s. It's comfortable. It's not humid. And then over the next couple of days, it's going to remain very comfortable. The next 10 days around here, we're in the low to mid 70s. Tomorrow, same thing on Friday. Over the weekend, brief little hit to our temps on Saturday, but on Sunday, things look great. We're going to be in the upper 70s. And then next week, by the middle of next week, that's when we should start to see warming temperatures again. It's not out of the question that we're in the upper 80s by the end of next week, possibly into next weekend. So it's really going to be something to watch for those of you that are waiting on the warmth. We've been below average for quite some time. We did have that brief warm up earlier this week, but the rest of this week is looking slightly below average. For tonight, 54, we'll have north winds right around 5 to 10 miles per hour. The showers that we have south and east of I-55 this evening, those will taper off throughout the overnight. So we're not stuck with that all night long. In fact, by tomorrow morning when you're waking up and starting your day, we are likely going to be dry across the area, but we will have cloud cover south and east of 55. Your forecast high temperatures for tomorrow looking good. A lot of us are going to be in the 70s, 73 degrees at O'Hare, but notice the lakefront locations will be running cooler. So we're going to have a northeasterly breeze tomorrow coming right in off of Lake Michigan. So very similar to earlier this week, we're going to have those cooler conditions at the lakefront. Expect mid, maybe upper 60s for a couple hours, but most of the day is likely going to be in the mid 60s at the lakefront. Your 5-day forecast tomorrow, smoky skies, 73 degrees. Again, air quality alert is going to remain in effect until midnight Thursday night. On Friday, 74, and then we have a better chance of rain on Sunday. We have much warmer air on the way next week. Those details and more are coming up on Fox 32 News at 9. We'll see you soon.